Hi, everybody. Just want to provide you with a recent update to the Break of Day Capital Preferred Income Fund. And also wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you guys to one of our latest team member, Andy Wong. Before we start, we always have to do this disclaimer. I'm not going to read it all, but make sure you read it. This is the confidentiality and disclaimer. And then equally important is the financial disclaimer. We're not making any claims here. This is not financial advice. We're here to provide an education and just please make sure you read it. Just a little bit about our company for those of you that don't know us. We are a private equity real estate firm. We buy underperforming multifamily assets in high growth markets in the Southwest. And then we implement strong repositioning strategies and best-in-class asset management to increase value for all stakeholders. Here are some of our interesting stats. To date, we've raised over $100 million in equity. We've distributed over $40 million to investors. We were recognized as the 25th largest growing real estate company on the 2023 Inc. 5000 list. And we have selectively acquired 1,800 plus units with a total value of $320 million in real estate transactions. Here's a little bit about our team. This is our, like we like to call him, our fearless leader, Gary Lipsky. He's a CEO and co-founder of Break of Day Capital. He's been a real estate investor since 2002. He has over 30 years of operational experience. He's the Amazon best-selling author of Best in Class and Invest Smart. We'll get into a little bit on the next slide. Prior to founding Break of Day Capital, he was the president of ARC, a company that he grew to over $12 million in revenues and 700 employees. This was an after-school youth program in the California area. He's also the founding board member of the nonprofit Core Educational Services. And this is the rest of us. This is a team that supports Gary in our endeavors. Today, I really want to just focus on Andy Wang, who is our latest team member. We work closely together on the investor relations team where we provide our investors, helping them, educating them on private equity, and perhaps even helping them construct their overall portfolio. Andy's going to talk a little bit about the updates that we have on the PIF, as well as give you a little bit more about his background. This is something that we're very proud of. Asset management, this is something that's not often talked about. Most other syndicators, really like to advertise how many units they have under management, how many dollars of assets, or how much money they have raised. But really, this is something that Gary and the team has focused on since the inception of the company. Asset management is not something that's well understood, but literally it means that you are it's everything that encompasses from the acquisition to the management to the operations to the selling the properties, the disposition of the properties. So it's something that we focus on. Gary actually wrote a book on it called Best in Class. Recently, though, he wrote a book for limited partners, for passive investors. And this book called Invest Smart is really about helping investors evaluate, basically trying to distinguish between bad syndicators and good syndicators. In addition, Gary has a podcast called Real Estate Investor Podcast. It used to be focused on asset management, but the last couple of years we've transitioned to including other asset classes and even some lifestyle health, topics. And this is something that we're also very proud of. In 2022, AAOA, the American Apartment Owners Association, named us the best real estate syndication company. And this is our mission statement, something we're very passionate about. This is a win-win situation that we're frankly very proud to be a part of. What we're up to is to provide our passive investors with superior risk-adjusted returns, but at the same time, provide quality homes for our community. Um, Again, just this is a win-win scenario that well, we would love to do for the rest of our lives. These are our core values: integrity, transparency, communication, diligence, and Kaizen. These are things that you would expect, as fiduciaries, when you entrust with your precious capital. These are the core values that hopefully that you run across with with everybody else. I do want to highlight the word Kaizen. This is a Japanese word that basically means constant improvement. This is something that Gary preaches day in and day out, which is continue to make improvements in every aspect of our business, everything that we do, because over time, small steps will accrue and they will really stack into big wins. Here's a look of our current portfolio. So you can see we have everything from smaller to larger units. But they're mostly Class B or C workforce housing. Many of them have a spectrum of value add. Some of them are very light. Some of them are strong cash flowing from day one. Others are more deep value add. So this is a particular business strategy, investment strategy that we focus and specialize in. On the bottom there, you'll see that we've have 4 exits in the last few years. And we total about achieved a net return of 49.5% IRR. So with that, let me turn over the rest of the slides over to Andy Huang. Andy, go ahead, please.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. My name is Andy Huang. By way of introduction, I'm the newest member of the Break of Day Capital team. I joined the team a couple months ago, but my relationship with the company actually goes back to 2023 when I started investing with Break of Day. So I've actually been personally invested in each of the last 3 deals, which is Spanish Trail, Icon and Midvale, and Icon and Headley. So like myself and other members of the team, our interests are aligned with our investors because we also have skin in the game. And so as Joe mentioned earlier in the presentation, we'd like to share with you some exciting updates for the preferred income fund. So those who are in the fund or are familiar with the fund already know that our Class A pays an annual rate of interest of 8%. It has a 90-day lockup period with a 45-day redemption notice. And so just a quick summary is if you recall, the benefits of the preferred income fund is that it has liquidity preference over common equity. So it provides consistent above average risk adjusted returns compared to things like stocks. And there's also no price volatility risk, unlike the current markets that have shown this year. There's no volatility risk with this type of fund. And on top of that, the 8% that we pay to investors for Class A, that doesn't have any fees involved, so that's the pure 8% that investors can expect. Now, the update that we wanted to show you most recently is we added a new Class C, which pays a higher rate of return with a longer lockout period. So the new Class C offers a 12% return, where 6% is paid monthly and 6% is accrued and paid upon redemption. So after 3 years, an investor would have earned 3 years of 6% annual returns that have been paid monthly, and then they would also have 3 years of the 6% accrued that will be paid upon redemption. So we think this is a really good way to add value for investors. For those who don't prioritize liquidity as much, they can park their money in this vehicle for 3 years at least and earn a higher rate of return. Now, so here are some of the fund details. So one of the benefits of the fund is it's an open-ended fund. So as I mentioned, Class A has a 90-day lockup period, while Class C has a 3-year lockup period. But after those periods end, you can exit the fund at any time. So there's liquidity benefit there compared to one of our close-end funds or one of our normal deals where the timeline is usually 3 to 5 years. We also, for this type of investment, we accept cash or self-directed IRAs, which include traditional, Roth, and solo 401ks, as well as EQRPs. And in addition, the areas of investment are their preferred equity backed by multifamily and BODC's assets. So know that when you're investing in this preferred income fund, it sits in the capital stack between debt and common equity, which we'll show in the following page. So this is where this shows the structure of the preferred equity fund and why it pays a higher interest than senior debt, but also a lower return than common equity. Because unlike senior debt, the preferred equity fund, you don't own a piece. It's not a loan. You're simply invested in the deals that Break of Day Capital is invested in. But the main difference is that it holds a superior interest compared to common equity, meaning when there's cash flow in the fund, of course, the senior debt gets paid first, and then the preferred equity tranche gets paid. And then after that, when there's cash left over, then the common equity gets paid. But of course, the trade-off is the common equity provides a higher return potential, whereas preferred equity is either 8% or a 12% fixed return, whether you're in Class A or Class C. And this table just shows the difference in interest rates that you can get in comparable instruments across the fixed income market. So currently, the money market rates are probably about 4.5%. 1-year CDs moves up to 5%, and annuities with a 5-year lock moves it up to 6%. So we think that for Class A, for the preferred income fund at 8% is a really good value for our investors who are willing to lock their money up for at least 3 months. And as we've seen in the current volatility thus far in 2025, with general market interest rates falling lower, we think this 8% is going to look even more attractive if rates continue to fall. And on top of that, now we have our Class C fund, which pays a 12% rate of interest, of course, where 6% is paid annually on a monthly basis. And as I mentioned, the remaining 6% accrues each year and will be paid when the investor fully redeems from the fund. And this is a good page we like to show investors because it shows in the context in comparison to a typical 60-40 traditional balanced portfolio where you have 6% and 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds. So the left side shows when you have a 60-40 portfolio and it's translated into Sharpe ratio, which is just a measure of risk adjusted returns, and it shows an annual return of 71,000 and a yield of 7.1%. But if you move to the right side of the page where that allocation has changed to 50% stocks, 30% bonds, and then you add 20% in the preferred income fund, it actually increases the Sharpe ratio a bit and also increases your rate of return and yield. So it's kind of a win-win for both for investors because you're taking a little bit less risk but getting a higher rate of return. So we think that's a really good value proposition for our investors. And so, as I mentioned, value proposition. So here, what are some of the benefits of investing with Break a Day Capital? Well, we have best-in-class asset management. We have operational expertise with years of experience. And just as one of our most recent deals have proven, we were able to increase the NOI by 40% in the first 12 months just by making operations more efficient and saving expenses across the apartment complex. And at the same time, one of our value propositions is we're focused on the Southwest markets versus trying to find deals all over the country. So we can be experts in the areas in which we invest, which is currently mainly in Arizona and the Tucson area. But we're super focused in these areas and we're experts in these areas. And in addition to that, what that means is we have strong relationships in these areas with brokers and lenders that enable us to develop trust and credibility with them over time, which allows us to get preferential terms from these sources. And so other points of value proposition for our company is that we do realistic underwriting. We don't make aggressive assumptions about deals when we buy them. We underwrite these deals from a realistic and conservative point of view. For example, insurance costs are increasing across the country, so we try to be a lot more conservative when making these assumptions in our underwriting to assume that things like insurance rates will increase in the future, so we're prepared for those types of curveballs that can get thrown at us. One of the things that we enjoy doing at the company is not only making money for investors, but we like to improve the communities in which we invest. So we'd like to create win-win opportunities for both our investors and our residents to make the places in which they live a lot more nicer and safer for them to call home. And so, on top of that, we also donate a portion of our proceeds to charities. So we're really, really into sort of a win-win proposition for both our investors, our residents, and we like to give back to the community. So, and finally, as I mentioned earlier, not only am I invested personally, but the other team members as well. But Gary was not only one of the largest investors in the deals, but he invests alongside with us and alongside with all our investors. So our team has a lot of skin in the game. Our interests are aligned because we're invested right alongside you. And so, is this fund right for you? So here's a quick checklist of some of the attributes of this fund to decide if it's right for you. Are you a accredited investor? Are you cash flow focused, seeking a fixed income with no market volatility? Is liquidity important to you? If it is, then Class A might be a better option than Class C. Are you seeking ways to diversify from a single risk asset? As I mentioned, the underlying investments for the preferred income fund are the deals that Break a Day Capital invests in. So you have diversity in this type of vehicle. And finally, are you looking for a team with proven results? As Joe showed earlier, we have 4 recent exits that had good results, and so we have a proven track record. So we think, given our expertise in the area and our track record and the strong team that we have, that we're a good option for investors. And we're excited to offer this new Class C opportunity to our investors, and we hope other people, you have questions and you'd like to schedule a call.
Andy, I can take this one.
Sure.
So yeah, something that hopefully our audience picked up along the way is that, we believe in win-win situations whenever we can make it happen, right? So it's not always about just, it's not always about just delivering a strong return to our investors, although that's super critical. It's also important that we give back. And so this is just a sampling of organizations that we're very passionate about. There's actually numerous other ones that we're going to fundraisers for and making donations and even donating our time just because we're passionate about making sure that we try to take as many people with us as possible. So yeah, I want to just finish before I turn this back over to Andy. I just want to once again welcome Andy to our team. It's very interesting because Andy and I both have very similar backgrounds on Wall Street and asset management, and we were both limited partners, passive investors in break of day capital deals, and getting to know Gary better over the years, and ultimately just really like seeing how things are done. Real estate is not rocket science, but it's a lot of tedious, like uh, unglorious. I don't know if that's a right word, but it's not gratifying work, right? But somebody has to do it. Somebody has to show up and make sure that the work gets done, make sure it gets done under, within budget. And so seeing results, clearly, Andy's here. I think he left a very big, prestigious job to join us. So, we're humbled by that. But just we obviously believe in the mission, and that's why we're both here. I'm excited to work alongside Andy. I'm excited to continue to meet new potential investors and just let's do some great things together. So Andy, with that, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
Sure. So thanks, Joe. So yeah, thanks everybody for their time. We hope that we've given you enough information that you want to learn more about the preferred income fund. Please reach out to me. My email is andy@breakadaycapital.com. You can also scan the QR code that's shown on the screen to send you to our website, and then you can sign up for our portal and you can look at various documents and get all the information that you want. But we really do hope that you reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about learning more about this fund and our other offerings at Break a Day as well. So yeah, thank you for everybody's time, and we hope to speak to you soon.
Thanks, everybody.